Hello and a very warm welcome to all the viewers of Womenwise. Let's talk about one of the many healing gifts from the nature's bounty to all the living creatures. Bachflowertherapy is one of those healing therapies that are effective, have no side effects, and are fast gaining popularity for their efficacy. I'm extremely delighted today to introduce to you a very well-known Bachflower therapist from Mumbai, Rakshaa Chhabriaa, who will help us understand this highly effective alternative and complementary treatment for many health conditions and diseases. Having been certified by the Bach Center UK, she has been using Bachflower remedies for over 20 years, and she believes that cures for all the diseases are hidden in the treasures of the nature. She is also a yoga and mindfulness coach and also practices a few other healing modalities in combination for the inner and outer healing and well-being of her clients towards their overall well-being. Let's welcome Rakshaa Chhabriaa and know more about her. Let's welcome Rakshaa to the show.
Thank you, Sangeeta, for this lovely opportunity. I'm truly humbled and grateful for you to recognize my work and give me this opportunity. Thank you.
Let us know about your journey towards getting into natural treatment.
So I think I was brought up in a household where my grandmother was always into like a lot of natural things. So we pretty much grew up without taking medicines. And if ever we fell like very ill, also she told us, you will be fine and this is all that we need to do about it, So, not seeing a doctor and not doing allopathy is something just instilled into us. And then when I started learning yoga, which she forced me and she pushed me into a class which I detested as a teenager, because you don't want to be seen going to a yoga class with oldies, during your college days.
And now you would be thankful to her.
Absolutely. And I truly believe you have to be a tiger parent somewhere to push your kids into the right thing.
Exactly. That's so right.
Absolutely. So it's given me a lot of insight and belief in what I've subconsciously or unconsciously learned over the years, and of course I have implemented it in my life.
You are into Bachflower therapy. I've heard a lot about this, but I don't know much about details about it. So could you please explain to me what it is and
So the basis, so we go through, a lot of emotions and feelings constantly as a human being in our life. It's like if we have to reach somewhere and we're worried, oh my God, it's 9 o'clock, I have to get ready. So there's a constant feeling and emotion that's going on,
Anxiety.
Yes, constantly. So even if you see the heartbeat, it's always like that. Obviously a flat is a dead one, but we are constantly going. These are good and keeps our heart going, but a rise and fall and extreme emotions is something that we need to be really careful about. And if we are going through them, then we definitely need to take charge on how we are going to get over it or resolve it. So emotions are also the root cause, which I always say, to any and every disease.
True. Absolutely.
We did not, like in our grandmother's times, we did not have diabetes. Every person did not have diabetes. It was rare that one of the people had or something. But today it's lifelong medication. Every second person has diabetes. Every second person has thyroid. Every young girl is going through PCOS and PCOD.
That's absolutely true.
So these are not, medical world is there to help human beings and, to take charge and remove any illness, It's definitely there and, it's absolute, we should be valuing the medical world. But what we are doing is, even the doctors and the medical world today, we are exploiting human beings for money. it's not lifelong that your body needs medication. You have to start working on the root cause and correct things in your life to get over medications.
Okay. So how does Bach flower therapy work? So what do you do? Are there flowers that are used? I mean, how do they go about what it is actually?
So yes, so Bachflower essences are derived from flowers that grew in the countryside in UK.
Okay.
Discovered by Dr. Edward Bach, who himself was a surgeon, a bacteriologist, and he wondered that after he's performed a surgery and cured people, given the medicines, why would they keep coming back with the same issue?
Okay.
Either in the same part of their body or manifested in another part of the body.
Okay.
And because he was so intuitive and an energetic person, he started researching, and when he went, he discovered these flowers which have the vibrations to cure certain emotions, and he linked these emotional as maintaining causes, and how he used these to get rid of the root cause, and people did not have the disease anymore.
Okay.
So that's what Bach therapy really does.
All right. And how did you get into Bach flower therapy? Where did you learn it, and how did you decide to learn and treat people then?
Yes, so I first used Bachflowertherapy 20 years ago when I was pregnant with my older one, and one of my friends recommended it to me, and she said this is what I used for labor pain, and being from a natural background, no epidural and no cut was the aim.
Oh my, yes. And that's I'm pretty brave.
Yeah, so I will do anything natural to avoid that, so that was the aim. And coming from a close friend who's similar background, and so there was no trust issue in terms of she would use something wrong for her pregnancy, so I just blindly took it,
Okay.
Though people around me told me, how can you just take anything? And of course who's recommending it and what it is, And I did take an overdose, I must say, because she started something in her 5th month and I was delayed by 2 months. I started in my 7th month. So I was anyways a little anxious. Yes.
Okay.
And because she mentioned there are no side effects, I went all out, in doing that.
Okay, there are no side effects.
Yes, so there are 0 side effects to this therapy, and that's the best part. The only thing it can do is it may not work and you may not feel anything, but there is no adverse effect of it. It will only affect you positively.
Okay.
And I must say that my labor was just 1 hour. It was
lucky.
Super smooth, yes. super smooth, And so then obviously my belief in this whole thing that it worked and that 1 hour was so painful that I said, oh my God, I can't believe how people do this. I mean, go through it for 24 hours. And that's why the epidural, obviously those who don't know about therapies and don't know alternative medicine, so my heart really goes out to them. And then I use Bach therapy, for small things like postpartum blues, my child not sleeping well or being very cranky on a certain day, me feeling irritable and angry on certain days for no reason, and we all know that there is no concrete reason for me to be irritated, but I am. I mean, and that's human, right? It's just something you can't even explain, right? I mean, So yes, Bach therapy helps you in all these kind of emotions. Something like Monday blues, we all know that, Mondays we don't want to wake up and we don't want to go to work, And Monday blues is a metaphor. I mean, some people continue with those blues and it leads to procrastination. So yes, Bach therapy addresses all these normal, everyday emotions that we go through. So I started using it for these kind of things. As my child grew up, people asked me for, kids who used to cry profusely to go to school. So I used it for separation anxiety. I used it for stage fear. I used it for introvert kids. I used it for bullying issues.
Oh my God, that's a wide range where it can be actually used.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the bully goes through different emotions, obviously, and the bullied goes through a different.
Yes, of course, they both have their own
Exactly.
emotions, own way of dealing with things.
Yes.
So, apart from emotional, like it works on the emotions, and then you can treat the person by using Bachflowertherapy. Apart from that, what are other conditions where you can use Bachflowertherapy?
So Bachflowertherapy is not only used for human beings; it's for plants and pets as well.
Oh,
Yes. So I would say anything that has a soul, Bachflowertherapy can be used for.
okay. And what are other ailments, like suppose a person has migraine or because I've heard that if you have a specific pain, it comes from some kind of hidden trauma or memory or something. So if you can elaborate on that.
Yes. So let me address migraine first, or headaches. Severe headaches, migraines. Now, two people will have a headache or migraine for different reasons. Okay, what triggers migraine in one person is very different than what triggers migraine in another person. So the reasons are different. So allopathy will give you a standard medicine for both, but in Bach it's personalized. What is the reason for your migraine? We get to that.
Okay.
And that's why it works on the root cause. So what concoction or permutation and combination I would make for you for a migraine will be very different than what I make for another person.
So it's unique.
Yes, it's absolutely unique, and that's why it works.
All right, all right. So basically, you need a counseling session is required for that.
I wouldn't say counseling. The first session is always a history taking
Ouch.
or a consultation where we go through a lot of things that you've been going through at least for the past 5 years.
Understanding the patient, and then accordingly you.
Yes. The mood, the personality. Now, homeopathy takes your personality into account as a whole, but not the individual emotions that you are going through. And that's why sometimes it takes time to work. And every homeopathy doctor and every doctor, like you say, they sometimes when a patient doesn't get cured, in spite of the changes in the medication the doctor is making, they label that as at maintaining cause. So there is a cause which is maintained in your body, which is maintaining the issue, the pain, the disease.
Okay.
And Bach remedies are the only remedies that work on the maintaining cause.
Okay, great. Very interesting actually. You practice in Mumbai, right? And apart from that?
Yeah, so primarily I'm Mumbai based. So Mumbai, Pune, I do consult in Pune also. And Delhi is something we are coming up with. It's in the pipeline. But I have clients from Kolhapur, Jaipur, Nagpur, UP.
So that's online consultation?
Online. Yes.
All right.
So we do online consultations, and then depending on what the issue is, I courier the dosage to them and we do a review.
Okay. So one more thing I forgot to ask you. You had mentioned that you were undergoing some kind of health issue and with which you treated yourself, and you are as healthy as ever. Can you just tell the viewers what it was?
Okay. So I would say when you're blessed with good health, maintain the good health, maintain your emotions, don't take them for granted. And I think I did that, And with my second pregnancy, my first one was as smooth, and the second one was complete anti and opposite of what the first one was. And I got detected with lupus during my second pregnancy, which is an autoimmune. It's a deadly autoimmune. It does not have a cure. And it was... So I was 5 months in the hospital with this entire thing. Given 5 years to live, with my life being in and out of the hospital and medications. So, but yes, then I think I just started work. Like I said, every disease is connected to certain emotional level. And if you believe that and get to really, really start working on it, I mean, there is nothing like your physical symptoms will not change.
Okay.
Absolutely not, you know. So when we encounter a disease, it's one emotion at the core, but then, you know, there are certain layers that surround it. You know, so we start addressing it one by
one thing at a time,
and then we get to the root cause. So it's been a journey for me of about 5 years to cure myself. It's not been an instant journey. Bach therapy being the major tool, and I would really like to reinforce and reiterate over here that it is the easiest tool to change your mindset and change your vibration of your body and frequencies. It's the easiest thing. Yes, you have meditations, you have visualizations, we work on journey, we work with other tools, but everybody is not equipped to do everything themselves. So this is the easiest way to get to the core of things.
Oh, so actually, viewers, if any one of you who thinks, or any person whom you think would need such kind of help and can be benefited from this, you can get in touch with her. All the contact details will be provided along in the video. And you had mentioned about your something like mindfulness coaching. Is it similar to life coaching, or what is it about?
So mindfulness is something that, you know, we need to be mindful. We need to mind our mind in what actions we do and what we speak.
All right.
You know, and so I do a lot of mindful language training. So I teach mindfulness and yoga at the American School of Mumbai, and mindful parenting workshops is something I do all the time.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
So it's like what you give out is what you get. So, you know, when somebody is angry at you or upset with you, you know, even with my own kids, you know, and when you tell them, what is it that you are going through? So, you know, when we just acknowledge and say that they are going through something and that's why they are talking or behaving like that, it just changes the entire thing of the way they will talk to you.
Oh, yes. In fact, the way you just spoke that sentence, what is it that is going within you? Of course, anybody will want to, you know, talk and tell you what it is. And that shows that you are not actually judging the person. You are trying to understand the person and maybe trying to help.
Yes. So, you know, we call it the non-violent communication, you know. So it's like if somebody tells, you're so stupid, for instance, you know, in anger to us. And you know, we've just learned these things to say, you're disgusting, you don't have any way to talk. I mean, that's the normal lingo, right?
Yes.
But only if we have to start training ourselves to looking at what is he feeling all the time, you know, and we'll say, I think you're not in a good mood. I think you're feeling low.
Oh, how nice.
And so when we do that, the person himself automatically starts looking at himself. So you're building responsibility rather than blaming.
Wow.
And the conversation takes another route. So this is something we do with between a parent and child, between a teacher and a student. You know, so when we do our first class, I always take my kids and we set a certain you know, rules and expectations of the class. So the first class is pretty much expectations from each other, what they want from me as a teacher as well, and what I want them to do for me.
Okay, so you set the expectations first.
Yes.
Okay.
And we agree upon, you know, so we all are a part of it.
How
you know?
wonderful.
So I'm not an authority. We all are a part of setting certain rules and guidelines for us to be able to learn better.
Okay.
And then when things go wrong, which always, I mean, you know, with kids it always does.
Yes.
They are going to run around, they are going to disturb, they're going to be... But then I said, you know, what do you think? I mean, you know, is this what we agreed upon? You know, and they say, oh, no, sorry, I'm really sorry.
Oh, nice. That's such a wonderful way of, you know, getting them to understand and understanding them as well, and then making them, you know, do what you want them to do.
Yeah.
behave the way you want them to behave, and it's such a subtle way to communicate. I think if the schools also, they should you have these kinds of programs, workshops and all. So if any schools, if they are interested, I think you all can have kind of conversation or understanding, because this is, I think, is a need of the time now. There's so much of violence and everything is going on, and this kind of communication and an expert coming and telling, teaching, interacting with the kids makes a lot of difference, I think.
So a lot of teachers actually don't know the science and how it works. But when the class is chaos and everyone's talking and just not listening, the teacher doesn't even need to raise her voice. I mean, honestly, and we just need to design. So we do a lot of sign languages. We design a lot of things that if I do this, it means this. If I do this, it means this. If I do this, it means something. So, when we devise all these kind of mindful things, you've just got there,
Wow, this is actually, something very new. Although it's like everybody knows from within that this is the way it should go about. But then when actually, the way you're talking in a professional way, it's very different for me also. I think I'm really impressed by this, and wherever I can, I'm going to talk to people, to have this kind of things introduced in the schools or wherever they have these societies as well. So what's your plan or a vision going ahead about whatever you are doing about Bachflower and this mindfulness?
So as of now, I'm just consulting for Bachflowertherapy, and I do coaching for diseases. So I have a lot of cancer patients, diabetes, relationship issues, a whole gamut of things that I address. But going forward, I think every household should have a Bach therapist. At least every household and every office should have one person who's trained to know these things and can help people around. Because it's an everyday thing. It's like you've accepted taking your vitamin D and your B12, right? You've known the benefits of it. It's as important as that.
Okay.
It's as important to keep your mental and emotional health in place, especially with the teenagers today, the kind of exposure they have, the pure pressure that they face. It's only about dealing with self-emotions, honestly, and we won't have suicides, we won't have depression, we won't have these kind of things,
Would you like to share some remarkable treatment success stories from the work that you're doing for the viewers?
So, I would just like to break this up. So with kids, I've had kids who had sibling rivalry. They've been otherwise like really cheerful and good kids and superb intelligent in every way, and no adjustment issues or social issues. But when it comes to the sibling, it's just that something goes wrong, triggers them, of course, and then they get into biting and hitting and all those and competition. So as far as the kids go, I would say I've addressed sibling rivalries. Stage fright is one of the biggest things, and a lot of people who go on stage, including models and actors, do go through these normal anxieties and nervousness. And the world over, celebrities have been taking Bachflowertherapy.
Oh,
yes. So be it Princess Diana, Hugh Grant, golf champions. I have a whole list of celebrities on my Insta page, and you can go through for what they've been taking. Then coming to teenage problems and diseases. So teenage problems, lots like peer pressure, addictions. What is the emotional background in your body that gets you into addiction?
Okay.
Homesickness. There are kids who go to study abroad, they cannot adjust and they come back. It's only an emotional issue that we need to address, and it's just addressed in no time.
Okay.
So I really feel bad when kids come back and I hear these kind of things, And as far as diseases goes, I have cancer patients who are being able to, kind of handle their chemotherapies and surgeries and that intense medical treatment that they are going
them
through.
Emotionally, mentally strong to take it.
I wouldn't say mentally strong, but getting their bodies adapted and adjusted. See, the very big thing is acceptance, right? So I have young people who get detected with breast cancer, like a 33-year-old. There's a 27-year-old who's with esophagus cancer. So there is constant anxiety, there is constant fear, there is constant trauma which the body is going through. So once we start addressing these with Bach therapy, your tissues become more permeable and the medication can work. When your body is in trauma and fear, the tissues are not even permeable. So that's why the medication is not working. So mindset, coaching, Bach therapy is a huge part of these kind of things.
Everything actually goes hand in hand.
Yes.
There is an interesting side to your profile about you being an animal energies and healing frequencies practitioner. Tell us more about it.
So every organ in your body has a certain frequency that it operates on. And when this frequency is disturbed, that is when a disease occurs. So let's say you have liver cirrhosis. That means the frequency of the liver and things around it is disturbed. Right? That's why you have the... it's like... So then, if you want to hear a radio mirchi, you have to go to 93.5. You can't go to 107 and expect to hear the songs that are played on 93.5. So similar is the connection between a frequency of an organ in your body and what is the opposite is the disease, and it goes haywire.
Okay.
So we have number codes, we have visualizations, we have meditations specifically to those frequencies of your organs which help people. And the other part of it is, so animal energies is a different thing. It's not about animal communication that we normally hear people do for pets and stuff. No. So this is, every animal carries a certain energy in himself to solve a certain issue. So I don't know if people have heard of wolf. So wolf is one universal animal. So let's say you're on the road and you're trying to book an Uber to urgently go somewhere and you're just not getting through. So if you just pause and visualize a wolf and say, wolf, can you please help me book a cab? And do it with your heart, you see how easily you will book a cab. So every animal has a problem solving capability and energy.
That's interesting.
Yes.
So we should do another episode.
Sure. It's a whole lot of information.
Yeah, this is something new we are hearing, and of course people would be interested in knowing more about it.
Yeah. Also, if you're going, let's say, a patient who's depressed. So I also tell them, keep a picture of parrot.
Oh.
Yeah. So parrot has an antidepressant energy. So if you look at the parrot, you will see, if you constantly look at a parrot, see how it plays on your mind.
Okay. So what would you suggest for a bedroom people would be interested? Animal who gives more romantic vibes?
I would say dolphin.
Dolphin.
More a happy vibe, I would say. Not like romantic or passionate. I mean, let's not filter it. Yeah, but dolphin.
Dolphin. Okay. Yeah. So guys, have a dolphin in your bedroom, or of course for your entire house itself. Because love and well-being, love, happiness, everything is required. So you can have a dolphin there. Anyways, now water therapy and urine therapy you were talking about.
Yeah, so urine therapy is something that I have implemented in my life for past 30 years, you know. And the first time when I went for this health reading, like I said, pushed by my grandmother by force, and we had to read a health book. Honestly, I picked up the book that was the thinnest because I was not keen or interested in reading any health book at that point in my life. And it, you know, the book read Water of Life by J. Armstrong. And it was, I think, a 80 or 100 page book, you know, more like a manual. And I picked it up and I said, oh, I drink a lot of water and this will be a very easy read, and, you know, like those things. And when I went back home and I read the book, I was disgusted. I was like, what is this talking about? Like drinking your urine? No way. It's like, you know. And of course, I read the book and I just read it for the sake, and I said, I'm never going to do this. Like, you know. I went back to class, and when we had a discussion that everybody read a certain kind of book, you know, and when it was my turn, I said, I picked up this book because it was thinner. Like, I was very honest about it. And I was prepared to be thrown out of that class also. Like, you know, I thought, I'm not going to lie, you know. Of course. And I said that I picked it up because it was only a very thin book, and I thought it's about water, and I drink a lot of water. So that was my thought process. But I'm really disgusted reading the book, I told my sir. And then he explained to me, and because there was so much aversion that I expressed, you know, about it, he said, okay, this week the task would be that everybody will try urine, okay? And I said, I don't think I can. And, you know, I was obviously very mild about it, you know. And I went home and I just threw a tantrum. Like, you know, I said, what you as parents are putting me through, nobody's doing this. I'm the only one over there. I'm not going to try this. I'm not going to do. And my grandmom and my parents have never done urine therapy in their life. And they did not push me for it. They said, it's okay if you don't want to do it. It's fine. You don't need to get upset about it. Like, you know. And the fact that they did not literally force me to implement everything in my life was, then I just thought, and because everyone in my class was discussing and doing it, I said, okay. So I started implementing the diet a little bit, and I did try it for the first time, and I was like, I shut my nose, I tried it, and I was like, oh my God. But it's an aversion, it's a big mindset block that we have, and it's not so bad, and the results it gives is actually miraculous. It's miraculous. So urine therapy has been so our former Prime Minister Morarji Desai is a big promoter of urine therapy, and he has used it for himself, and I know many other people who've been using it, you know, and it works wonders. Just wonder.
And water therapy?
So, yeah, water therapy. So, every human, like, you know, we all are made up of 5 elements, like we say. Water being the largest, because our body is 70% water, and remaining is divided into the other elements. So, whatever we want to change, like the frequency, the vibration, if we change water. So when we go to any temple or holy place in any religion, we are given a certain amount of water, right, to drink. What is it? It's the vibration that the water carries of that place, and that's what we are drinking. So in olden days, you know, when the kings and queens, like that kind of time, if they had an intense discussion or a problem, they would change the water on the table. They would not consume that water.
Okay.
Simply because the water has memory and it has stored those, and then you're consuming that. You know, they would throw away and change the water.
Okay.
So if we are just mindful about a lot of things, so if we want to change something in our life, we can actually store it in the water memory and start taking that water.
Yes, I've heard about it, read about this, yes.
So we also have a French scientist, one of my friend, they've come up with this machine instead of AquaGuard, which purifies the water as well as puts the meditation chants into it. And how that water plays out in your body.
Oh yes, that's what I read in a book. Like I don't know about other religions, but when Hindus, when they have the rituals and all, the priest he keeps on giving water, and then he says, sankalp lo. That means say something to the water, and take
Yes.
it, and then the water absorbs that energy.
Yeah.
Whatever they are teaching also does have some scientific base.
Yes.
You
So
know,
there is this Japanese doctor, if everybody wants to, even if you Google up Dr. Edmoto, he's done a whole lot of research on water memory. So even if you go through it, it's amazing.
Okay. So, what message would you wish to convey to our viewers from the experiences that you've had from life, plus as a professional who deals in healing through treatments that you do?
So I believe that everything in life comes for a reason. So even if you've encountered the worst disease in your life, if you can just change your mindset to say, what can I learn from this? What has this come in my life to teach me? That'll be your game changer.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was such a nice and enlightening conversation with Raksha. And I got to learn and know so many things. And of course, our changing our perception about so many other things that we have covered in the video. And being mindful of what we are talking is one more thing that I have learned here. Do watch this video on and on again so that you get to know about so many other things, and your perception changes as well. You might get inspired and motivated to do something like this, or go for some kind of treatment if required by you or by any other person whom you know. So, and you think that this video deserves some appreciation and support, do like, share and subscribe to your very own channel, Womenwise. Bye bye for now.